I cannot believe this video. Let me share my screen. You need to watch this clip.
I want to talk about energy costs for a second. People need relief on their energy bills. I hear that everywhere I go. But while families are struggling, utility companies are making billions in profits last year. They're spending more, paying shareholders more, and asking customers to pay more. It's outrageous. Enough is enough. National Grid, Eversource, Berkshire Gas, Liberty Gas, they've all proposed rate increases in the past year, some as high as 55%. I've opposed every single one, and I'll continue to oppose utility rate hikes. People can't afford it. On top of it, Donald Trump's making everything worse by blocking clean American-made energy projects like solar and wind, by launching us into a foreign war that's raising oil and gas prices across the board. That's why I'm going to continue to keep calling for the passage of my energy affordability bill that will save families and businesses money. It's got to get done. People can't wait any longer. I
think that what she needs to do here really is explain this with donuts. Maybe that would help everybody get the grand picture of what's happening. Because now Beacon Hill, and specifically Maura Healey, is out here pointing the finger at everybody but themselves. You're not going to get any receipts in this video. I'm not adding any B-roll. I'm just going to talk about this video itself. You know, the utility companies, yes, they are making more money. Are we at war? Yes, that is 100% true. But the fact remains, National Grid, Eversource, Unitil, all these different utility companies are out here to make money. These companies want to make money, but you need to remember how the hell we got here in the first place. It's Healey's own Department of Public Utilities. If you want to look, go grab your energy bill, go get your utility bill, and it's going to say something along the lines of like, we help the state meet our policy goals by establishing, certain things through legislation. So look at it this way. The utility companies are not necessarily inventing new costs. That's not happening. It isn't. They are just being enabled by their masters, which is people like Maura Healey, which is people like Ed Markey, which is people like the legislature here in Massachusetts. And apparently, during election season, the answer for all of these people, all of these nitwits, is to point the finger at somebody else. That is until somebody does some research. And remember, Massachusetts has some of the highest energy costs in the entire country. We're roughly like 75 to 78, maybe up to 80% more than the national average. Everybody knows this. The state knows this. The legislature knows this. Healey knows this. And the utility companies knows this. But the only people that don't seem to realize this, and the only people that she's talking to here, are the same people unaffected by Massachusetts' affordability crisis, and that is Maura Healey's donors, because somehow, some way, every single time they get an electric bill and they start looking at what the costs are, they decide to go on the internet, they go to Act Blue, and they donate to her campaign. While meanwhile, everybody else is out here unplugging their damn appliances. These lunatics open up those bills and they say, you know who could use some money right now? I think Maura Healey needs some money. We want to keep on spending an enormous amount of our money that we don't know what the hell is going towards, so she stays our governor. That is what is outrageous. And the fact remains that the majority of the energy efficiency framework traces back to 2008. Baker signed this in 2001. That's what happened. Other major electrification came into law in 2022. So Maura Healey didn't just wake up in the morning one day and invent ludicrous climate policies and net zero policies, but she did carry the torch for everybody else. So both her and her administration implemented the system, and they are riding on it, but they refuse to take any accountability or any blame. That's the truth. They want to appoint these regulators and electricity czars and all this other nonsense, right? And they want to collect money from the nonprofits that lobby them on the back end so that they could just, buff up their war chests or something. It's insane to me. It's insane to me. And most people, they don't know what the hell is going on. They look at their energy bills. They're looking at the delivery portion cross-eyed. They're like, how the hell is it costing me $300 for $100 of electricity? How is it is like a leprechaun going out and delivering this electricity to my house? Like, what the hell is happening here? The fact remains, It's mandatory because Beacon Hill made it mandatory. The Utilities Administrations, the programs, DPU, all of their plans, they explicitly explain that there is even performance incentives for the utility companies. So Eversource and Unitil and National Grid, they're not finding some kind of loophole in order to charge you more. This is like we're all stuck in the matrix that Beacon Hill created. That's what's going on here. The average customer pays roughly around $200 to $350 more just for one certain item, and that is Mass Save. It's probably even more than that, to be honest, right now. So look at it this way. Do people save money with Mass Save? Do they get some benefits? Yes, that's absolutely true. But then when you start looking at the records that the auditor put out, one of her reports, you come to realize that these same companies that were and are regulated by our legislature gave them $239 million towards program administration performance incentives. And on top of that, the gateway cities are the ones that are carrying the most disproportionate contribution burden compared to the ones that aren't. Has this ever been fixed? Diana reported on this probably over a year ago. Nobody knows. So look at it this way. We created a mandatory program. We put people in charge that are, I don't know if they're incompetent or what it is, but we put people in charge of our utility bills, and then we allowed performance incentives for the companies that are administering it. And these politicians, they want to point at these companies and scream about their profits, but meanwhile, they are the same people that let them do it. What the hell are we doing here? What the hell are people talking about? You could tell that it's an election season. You could tell. Because otherwise, why the hell are they coming out, doing all these press conferences, getting in front of a camera, and effectively lying to the people of Massachusetts? But here's the larger problem. Massachusetts sets aggressive electrification goals. Just ask Newton, okay? The fact remains that the state law directs the utilities to upgrade for renewables, for electrification, for net zero. Then the utility companies build their approvals and their infrastructure around that, and who ends up having to pay for it? It's us. That's who pays for it. Then everybody decides to go in front of a press conference like Maura Healey, and then they end up acting shocked when people are upset that the mandates and the laws that they created are creating a hostile environment and extreme energy bills. And again, we are the ones paying for it. That's what's going on. The state knows it has a problem. Healey's climate chief has said that you cannot have the transition costs all stuck on the ratepayers because it's not working. And that is 100% correct. It isn't working. But who put them there? Have they done anything about it that is realistic other than saving us maybe $5 or $10 a month? That's nothing. That is absolutely nothing. And here's a little goal. You know what? I may as well just tell you. Here's a golden nugget that I was going to save closer to the election that maybe you guys don't know about, right? Back in 2023, Healey's climate office said that Massachusetts needed an economic analysis of the investment portion required to achieve its climate plans and its net zero plans and the strategies around financing it. The state ended up issuing an RFP, a request for proposal. This was back in February of 24. Again, you could look this up. AECOM, or however the hell you pronounce it, AECOM, they were the ones selected. And the target analysis had a end of 2024 target date. It's 2026. It's August of 2026. This is like 2.5 years. We've been waiting for this study. This study would show the people where the hell their money is going. And we don't have it. It's August of 26. We still don't have it. It's not like, and by the way, most of these studies, they end up taking a couple of months, like maybe 6 months to a year max in order to put something like this together. So, you know, these people aren't trying to figure out how to compete with SpaceX or something like that, right? And this study still isn't public. Even Healey's own climate czar said almost verbatim that it's largely informing policy as of right now, while also saying that it is still under review. So AECOM, or whatever the hell it's called, has said that it's still in progress, right? It's still ongoing. And I think to myself, how the hell? Still ongoing? How is that possible? Because if it's developed enough to inform policy, right, which is a big deal that affects what people pay, then how is it not developed enough for people to understand what the policy is and for the people to actually read it? So what I'm trying to say is, how could they be generating ideas on policy on a report that the public has to pay for, meaning inside of your utility bills, and we still don't have it? How could they have and be informing on these policies? It doesn't make any sense. They're talking out of both sides of their mouth. That is just the most unbelievable arrangement that I've seen in a long time. And this is just my opinion. I think that this is completely intentional. I think the numbers for her and her campaign would be damaging politically. Again, I'm alleging this. This is my opinion. I think that if Healey wasn't getting challenged, we would have already have seen this report. I could be wrong, but look at it this way. Okay, I may as well just say this. All you need to do is look at the most recent movement of their abortion bill. Use that abortion bill as proof of concept. The timing on that bill was quite a choice, wasn't it? And in my opinion, stalling it as long as they could served their campaign needs more than any claimed urgency about helping women. And that's the honest to God truth. They delayed this bill on purpose. That's my opinion. I know you don't want to hear it. I know you don't want to hear it, but somebody has to say it. We need to be honest with ourselves here. This is an important election, guys. This is a big election. And you know what? That may even be a future video, to be honest with you. So look at it this way. If you are publicly blaming the utility companies for affordability while your own administration has commissioned an analysis of what the transition costs and requirements are and how the hell you're going to finance it, and that same analysis is still unavailable 2.5 years later than its original target, you have a problem here. You have a problem here. And I'm bringing this problem to the public's attention. That's the intentions of this video. These people have a transparency problem. These people have an accountability problem. These people want to blame every single thing on the utility companies, on Trump, on this, on that, but they refuse to look in the damn mirror. And what you people need to know is that these people created the mandates. They authorized the recovery mechanisms. They hand the utility companies the collection job, and then they point the finger at the company that's on your bill. That's what they're doing. Like they didn't know this was coming, that they didn't know this was happening. Maybe if you released that report 2.5 years ago, you would have known this is happening. This is a masterclass, guys, a masterclass on gaslighting. And I'm not saying that the utility companies, again, aren't to blame. They absolutely are, and they absolutely take part in the responsibility. They do. But they have to answer to their masters. They have to answer to everybody on Beacon Hill. Then Beacon Hill has to answer to the activists and nonprofits that are constantly hounding them. The architect in the Matrix is Beacon Hill. That's who it is. This is where the problem started. Massachusetts does not need another video, Maura, of you complaining and pointing the finger. Massachusetts needs to see the study. Massachusetts needs to see the reports. That's all we need. We need to know what the hell we're actually paying for. Wouldn't that be nice? Which costs come from utilities decision-making, which are coming from some levels of state policy, and what this transition is inevitably going to cost us. Put the receipts on the damn table, because now, look at it this way. Either way you want to try to shake it, they're damned if they do, and they're damned if they don't. And you know what? Here's what I want everybody to do, all right? I don't ask for much. I want you to send an email out or call your state reps, call your senators, email the governor's office, email every single person involved with the legislature, and ask them one very simple question. Ask them, where is the economic analysis on what net zero is actually going to cost in Massachusetts and how the hell we're supposed to pay for it? Make as much noise as humanly possible on this one, guys. If these people are going to restructure our entire energy system and then inevitably make the ratepayers finance it, then Massachusetts residents have every right to know what the government thinks this is going to cost so that we could know what the hell it's going to cost. That's what I think. Where is the damn report? Release it. That's it.